Hi guys and welcome to a new video.
Today, Paula and I have a new case that is very curious about a game that everyone have playing right now.
This is the mystery of Among Us.
Us is the only multiplayer social deduction game that was developed and published by an American studio that was initiated. This released this game on June 15th of 1218.
This game takes place in a space-themed setting, in which players take on one of two roles. Most of them are going to be crewmates, and a few others are going to be imposters.
Is this just a game?
The reality is that Among Us has a true dark story which happened 10 years ago in a space classified mission. There were 10 astronauts, but there was one imposter.
The man was called William Sharp. This have schizophrenia, originated by a trauma childhood. His plan, which almost was to sabotage the spaceship, kill them all and kill himself.
The spaceship during the trip started to fail and the communication with the control tower in the Earth was interrupted, so in that moment everyone knew that something was wrong.
Paper, after to destroying the spaceship, killed 9 of the passengers and only one of them survived.
Although there are too many theories about what happened inside the spaceship, but here we have the testimony from the survivor and a family member of one of the victims who received a message from the spaceship months later about what happened.
Now we will show you the interview with those 2 women survived and the investigator of the case.
Well, this has been a big mystery. So now we are trying to understand what exactly could happen that day in the spaceship. For this reason, we have the intervention of 2 important persons. One of them is the survivor of this event, and the other one is Mike's sister, one of the murder victims. So, were you the sister of the last one who was killed, right?
Yes, Madam Agent, I was the older sister of the victim.
How do you find out about murder on the spaceship?
I was at my house a few months after my brother was supposed to have died, which I didn't know, and that is was I'm called. That day arrived at my house a package with my brother's belongings and an anonymous letter, where he said it had been murdered, and I settled for that or else I would go wrong.
Did your brother leave something that can help us to identify who was the murderer?
Yes, Madam Agent. When the package arrived at my house, I looked at my brother's belongings and I saw his cell phone. So I decided to turn it on and see what there was. Then I came across some messages that he was going to send me, telling me some stranger things that was happening in the ship. The lights went out as if someone were sabotaging them from one moment to another. Then I wanted to look at his photos and saw that he had secretly taken photos of a certain person in different occasions. Inside those photos there was only one word that said reactor, and I don't know if it means something.
Where were you at the moment of the murder? Or what were your assignments on the spaceship?
I was in charge of security. On the night of the first death, I was in the security room watching the cameras. I thought it would be a shift like any other, when suddenly I began to receive alerts that something was happening. That night, I couldn't see much on the cameras since the murder occurred in a blind spot.
And how did you realize that something was going wrong on the spaceship?
Since that night, the first death was shocking for me, so I took precautions in addition to being very aware of the cameras. I did patrols to make sure that everything was well, but that wasn't enough. Week after week, more dead companions appeared. It wasn't until very few crewmates were still alive that I realized who the murderer was. But it was too late. The problem was bigger than us.
How did you escape from the spaceship without the impostor notice you?
I desperately tried to escape when only him and I were left, but it was impossible. The spaceship already had many faults, and the only capsule that was still working and that I could get out of was on the other side of the spaceship. So I did not have any option that faced the murderer. I luckily came out almost unscathed. If I hadn't killed him, I wouldn't have left the place.
Well, now we have more proofs about what happened that day in the spaceship. Just as Mike's sister told, the package which arrived years later to her home contained some information and evidence which confirms that William Shepard was the impostor. Also, Abby, the only survivor of this chaotic situation, told us the facts that she experienced in real life, and which left her at psychological trauma which follows her day after day.
So as you can see, this terrible event was an inspiration for a game that nowadays entertains a lot of people during the quarantine.
We must remember that this is a real story that affected too many lives.
Today, you can find the destroyed spaceship in the NASA Space Center in Houston, where also happens mysterious phenomena.
Many words of the place say that in the midnight you can hear screamings of the damaged spaceship.
Others have said that sometimes at 3 a.m. you can see a ghost around the spaceship or hear someone walking under this machine.
That is a story for another video.
We hope you enjoyed this video about Among Us.
Don't forget to subscribe, pull down and click in the bell for know when we upload a new video. Bye.
Follow us in our social media, which you can find in the description, and see you next time. Bye!